Everyone is stick with the us versus herd. If it's your first time here, you like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications from when we go live or post videos, tap the bell. And if you want to join the UVH fam, which is our community, links are below in the description to our Discord, our Facebook options trading group, and our Patreon. So if you're here right now, say what up. We know how you guys are doing today. Happy Wednesday. A lot more earnings. I mean, today the stock market was just like, besides Tesla, I would say, just a snooze fest. Jeff, Adele, what's going on? How you doing? Hope everyone stayed safe today and kind of dodged that China news. But yeah, right now is Square, Roku, Qualcomm earnings right now. I'm just looking at that. I mean, S&Ps really were just flat today. I mean, SPY closed up 7 whole cents, 0.02% up. I mean, pretty terrible. Dow came back up though, and so did Nasdaq. Nasdaq was pretty much lagging all day, and that came back up. As you can see, Nvidia dropped pretty quick this morning, had a nice sell-off and came back up. And Tesla was actually selling off this morning too, before we had the semi-news and then the upgrades. If you made money today, comment got paid. If you lost money today, comment learned a lesson. Right now, Square's literally doing nothing for earnings. Let's get into. So I do have a iron condor on Square right now. Mark got paid. Let's go to. Where is the? Adele got paid today on Disney and Snap. Nice. All right, so Square delivered better than expected results Wednesday. Profit fell short of expectations. When I was looking at this, I was impressed by their revenue for the Bitcoin. Ariana, how you doing? Got 2 Nvidia trades. McDonald's keeps paying. Yeah, I should have placed another McDonald's trade after I got out my last one, but I haven't been too aggressive with this market just because it's just been. I think it's just looking for direction, and now they said that the China deal might be pushed back to December, which. Honestly, I don't think it's. I don't think it's going to happen. If it does happen, I'll be really surprised. But the one thing I was interested about the Cash App here, Square said that the total net revenue for its Cash App was $307 million in the quarter, while gross profit for the app was $123 million. So I mean, the Cash App is a moneymaker. If you exclude Bitcoin, it says here, revenue was $159 million. So Bitcoin is really taking up like half the Cash App revenue, which is pretty interesting. However, gross profit was $121 million. So if you kind of do the math here, I mean, Bitcoin is not really adding anything to the bottom line. It is adding revenue, but if the gross profit with $307 million was $123 million, but if you exclude Bitcoin, and out of $159 million, the gross profit is $121 million. So I mean, what is crypto really adding? Bitcoin really adding to their bottom line? Just generates revenue, but it looks like they make $2 million on it in terms of gross profit, and they have $150 million in revenue on it. You think Apple will be impacted by Qualcomm earnings? Hey, what your opinion about Zero Hedge calling out? And I'm not aware of that. But so Square right now. So today for me, I'll go through my positions. I exited some positions. I started bailing on some positions when the China news started coming out. I probably shouldn't have done that. Kind of probably overreacted a little bit. But on Square, um, we have on the. Let me show you here. So I have an Iron Condor. I sold the 57 puts. Bought the 56 and a half puts, and then I sold the 66 and a half puts and bought the 67 calls. 66 and a half calls and bought the 67 calls. I did 5 contracts. I did get them for 24 cents, and which is I think was a pretty good, which was a pretty good price. I mean, risk ratio. If I put this order on right now, to kind of show you. So right now it's 19 cents, but I got it for 24 cents. So for every contract, max profit was 24 bucks. Max loss was $26 because we had 50-cent wide strikes here. So, so I actually got a good price. The interesting thing here that I want to say about this trade on Square was I put this same exact trade, exactly like this, into Robinhood at the exact same time, and I didn't get a fill. I even went down to 22 cents. I took a $2 hit on this per contract on Robinhood, and it never filled. So just letting you know, like, I'm not saying Robinhood's a scam, but they really wanted me to go down on price, and Tastyworks filled me at 24 cents, and I couldn't get filled on Robinhood at 22 cents. And I wasn't going to go lower than that because it's just not worth it. Tactical, what's going on? Miguel, how you doing? If you're here right now, say what up. Dark Light said down 500 on Roku. Yeah, I mean, I was out of the earnings plays. I was definitely not going to trade Roku because I feel like out of all of them, I don't have a Roku trade on right now. Out of all of the earnings trades, I was looking for an earnings trade, but I've been very selective this quarter just because. I mean, trading earnings is a risk, even if you are just selling premium. But right now, I mean, it's in range. I mean, the expected move on Roku was $20, and it's down to 121. It closed at 141, so it's right within the expected move. So if you were selling premium, you're not hurt yet too much. But if you just bought calls, I mean, you're in trouble. I've been saying for a while, like I don't understand how Roku really went up that high so fast. It just so for Roku, the company announced in October it would host the Apple TV app, but they revenue was 261 versus 256 million, so they beat on that. What are they going to update this? I don't know what the expected loss per share was. Miguel, I mean, I didn't. Daniel, how you doing? I think I missed a question here. Why don't you go live from pre to post? So I go live 30 minutes after market close pretty much every day, and the reason why I go live 30 minutes after market close is because after a long day of whether trading or doing what I'm doing all day, sometimes it's nice to take a 30-minute breather before getting on the live stream, because the live stream, I like doing it. It's fun. I like interacting with everybody, but it does take it out of me. Yeah, Robinhood's commission's free, but they will rob you on the order fills for sure. I keep telling people this. They're getting paid, just not as clearly. Yeah, I mean that's what you got to be worried about with. And I didn't want it to go like when you're selling premium on Robinhood. I didn't want to go too cheap. I wanted to, but it's good. Like it's good to always compare what the orders are on other platforms, so you get a feel for that. But in terms of Roku. revenue increased 79% from a year ago. Robinhood doesn't charge subscription fees. We know that. I've been saying this. I don't understand Roku in terms of how they compete. I do understand, like, for Apple TV, how they're a competitor because Apple TV is expensive, but Roku does have some other channels and apps on there versus like the Fire Stick. I think Amazon Fire Stick is more powerful than Roku, but they sell a box that connects to Netflix and the internet, and for it to be priced. So right now it's at 120 right in here. This, like, for doing earnings trades, like for me, a chart like this is just dangerous. That's why I chose Square. Like Square, I like Square because it has some consolidation, has some ranges you can kind of have expected. You think that for Square, kind of what I was thinking is max pain probably around the 66 area up in here. That's on the max pain on the call side. Max pain on the put side, I was thinking around 57 down in here. But it's been chilling around 60. Every time it went below 60, it got bought up real quick. We did hit 54 here, but that got bought up real quick. So, I felt that when doing an earnings trade, I felt that Square was the less risky of them all. And right now Square is moving up. So as long as Square stays below 66.5, should be good. Should be good. I did do, like, for the Square trade, I did do a little bit of a bullish iron condor. So I brought the calls up into the expected move. This orange bar on Tastyworks shows what within the expected move. It's only expected to move like $5. So I brought the puts up to be within the expected move, and then I have these just on the outside of the expected move. So it's a tad, I would say, a tad of a bullish iron condor. Whether they made money off target ads, yeah. I don't know. They have a lot. Everything's free on there. I do think they get paid off of partnerships and that kind of thing, but I don't. It's unclear. It's unclear where they make money, and then what would jeopardize that revenue. They don't really have any competitors. Apple TV, I would say Apple TV for Roku is more on the expensive end, so you're only going to get a certain demographic there, and then Roku has a lot of different pricing for the different models, so it makes it appealing for people that want different versions. Versus Apple, I think, is more of a premium. And then you have like the Fire Stick or Google Chromecast as well. So in terms of Square, I'm sorry, Roku, I'm not seeing the long-term value. I think this is kind of crazy. They hit a low of 26 this year, and they ramped up to 176, and now they're back down to 120. Which is still good, going from 26 to 50 or 26 to 100. That's a huge return. Yeah, Miguel, Robinhood definitely shady on those fields. So I found out, I got reminded today firsthand. Qualcomm. So Qualcomm, you guys traded Qualcomm at all? I did not. Options were pretty liquid today for Qualcomm, but I wasn't really liking it up in here. Yes, it could push to new highs, but this could also drop really low. The expected move on Qualcomm was $5, and right now it's pushing that $5 mark right now. So it's right at the edge of that expected move. So when trading premium, when trading earnings, I mostly just try to sell premium. I don't try to buy premium on there because you get screwed more times than not. So I love how all these channels out here talking about recession, depression, and I'm laughing at this stuff. I mean, a recession is gonna hit, like, eventually the stock market, the bottom is gonna fall out, right? So it's nobody knows when, or no one knew when the banks were gonna fail, right? The banks just failed, and if they did, don't you think people would have pulled their money out, or there's going to be like bank runs and stuff like that? Like, I think the last recession woke a lot of people up, because they were on a epic bull run, which we are now, and we've kind of forgotten, and now people. Now I think there's laws to protect some of that stuff, but they're trying to roll back some of those laws to make it a little bit more loose, to whatever, get more loans in people's hands and that kind of thing, but it's dangerous. Roku. So what did you guys have? Steven, what did you guys, a couple of people traded Roku. So Steven traded Roku. Who else traded Dark Light? What were you guys' positions on? What were you guys' positions on Roku, so we can look up, kind of see what that was, so we can dissect. Anybody trade Square other than me? So, sounds like I'm the only one that's traded Square. When you guys are trading earnings, are you more buying premium or selling premium? For me, I'm more of selling premium. Looks like Square is trying to make a push up here, 63.70 right now. But Qualcomm, I thought this headline was interesting that they chose this. Qualcomm earnings beat diminished expectations. Stock heads higher. Our boy Jeremy at MarketWatch had a lot of time on his hands to think of that headline right there. But Qualcomm, they reported 506 million, 42 cents a share. Sales 4.81 billion. MarketWatch makes it hard to read these things, down from 5.83 billion a year ago. So, but they beat strong outlook. So they raised Qualcomm raised guidance, which is really helping them out right now. C1 got the 141 put for next week. Nice. That's looking good. What did you pay for that, C-Win? So you got the 141 put for next week. Can't even get it right now, because the 141 put was going for 1120 for next week. So has a delta of 83. So right now it's $20 move. Plus your delta is probably going to go closer to $1. So let's say 83 times 20. I mean, you're looking at a roughly about $1,600 return. So you'll probably be making, if you paid anywhere between, like, let's say $11, you're making 150% on that. 150% profit. You're about 1085. So yeah, around 11. So you're going to be making, if it opens up around 141, you're making about anywhere between $1,600 to $1,800 profit. So about 180%, 200%, close to 200%. Nice trade. I would say it's risky though. Really, I would say that would definitely be risky. Because Roku, I mean, this earnings, they had a gap up from 100 up to 120 last quarter, and now we're going to be gapping down from 141 down to 120 area for Roku, probably below. So, Tobin, what's going on? Jolo says selling premium is the best. Expedia getting hammered. Oh yeah, Win. I didn't trade. Win I didn't like. Win is actually coming back in. I was actually looking at selling some premium and Win. I didn't like their chart being right here at the top here. I would definitely have preferred to be somewhere between 105 and 115 to sell premium. Up in here, I was a little worried that it could come back down to like the 110 area, and the expected move at the time was like $9. So this had an upside, let's say 122 from like anywhere between like 135 and 110. So I didn't really like the trade on that. Tobin's got the 80 call. You got the Tobin. You got the 80 calls on Qualcomm. I did put on a strangle for Nvidia. I have the 207.50 calls and the 202.50 puts. So I'm seeing how that's going on right now. Expedia. I don't know their ticker. Do you guys know their ticker? XPE. I never trade this. I mean, is this liquid? Not very liquid. Man. So they're at 118. So they're gonna be back down here at the lows for the 52-week lows. 52-week lows on this thing is 108 right now. And the expected move was $7. So they're going to get paid a lot. I don't know if you guys had positions on that. They're going to Expedia traders are going to get paid a lot. Yeah, the only earnings trade I did was Square. I just did 5 contracts for the Iron Condor, 50-cent white strike. So right now, looking like it wants to test the upside. I have to 66.50, but looking like it wants to test the upside here. BA. BA. I mean, the market today was like so boring. I mean, BA looks like it's coming back down, but the rate that it was going was relatively slow. I mean, this was nice to go from like 359 down to 353 area, but it just I didn't really expect it to stop around 360. I thought I was going to maybe go to like 370, 375. So we'll see if today was just a day of pullback for that, and then wants to launch higher. People kind of take some profits from 340 to 360. Reduce some risk, but I mean, I think the lesson out of the whole 737 Max thing is it doesn't matter what Boeing does. You guess you just got to buy the dip, which is kind of scary. Steven's got the 308.50 call. Yeah, SPY. I mean, SPY has just been stuck. It hasn't been able to crack like the 309 area, the 325, 308, the 308.25 area. It did hit 308.35 after hours one day, but that was it. It was just, it looks like it's coiling up to like push higher, but it really, I mean, SPY hasn't been that interesting. Today it moved. Let's say it opened at like 307. Came down to 306.34, back up to 307. I mean, it's just you're making pennies, Tesla was the real winner today, and if you look at last couple days, it's been kind of a scary trade. Last couple days ago, it crashed down to 309 and got bought up, and then today it hit 314, and then it got bought up pretty hard. But as you can see, it's been launching pretty good. Yesterday had a fade day, but never really broke down, I would say. Yesterday was more of just a fade after a previous day's move, but Tesla looks like it's wanting to retest the 340 area up in here. I thought about buying naked puts, but the stringer was a better strategy, and thank God it worked. Hope so, Julio. I hope. For my case, I hope Square kind of slows down around 65 or so. But right now, Square is still within the expected move. Square is currently, we see Qualcomm. Qualcomm's really retesting 90 here, but Square. So right now it's at 64, 63, 68. Hit 64.71. So 64.71. I mean, we're starting to break these resistance, which has been having some issues, in the past couple of weeks where it hasn't been able to break above like 64 area since August. Ever since it broke down at 66 range, it couldn't get over 64. As you can see here, it just every time it tapped it sold off every time. So what could happen if it gaps up and we're above 64? Let's say it gaps up to 65. This could either sell off at open, or is a catalyst to push it towards like 66, 68 area. But it really needs some volume to push it there. Right now it's trying. But yeah, I do have a strangle on NVIDIA. I did put on today, so I have the 207 50 calls and I have the 202 50 puts. NVIDIA, I want to point out here, NVIDIA has earnings next week. NVIDIA yesterday and today sold off pretty big at open. Yesterday it went from like 310 down to 210 down to 207 and back up, and then today it was pretty ginormous at 209 down to 204 and then recovered. Not nearly as much but as it did the day before, but had a nice recovery. I'm putting my strangle on NVIDIA for next week. Yeah, I think NVIDIA, NVIDIA with the China news as well is just a bit crazy. I also do have a Teva position for January 2020. So I have a debit spread on there. I have the 10 calls and I sold the 11 calls. So those will be, they have earnings tomorrow. Teva, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Teva, but they're a pharmaceutical company, and they've really just been consolidating in this area. Last earnings they dropped a little bit, but bounced back up, and it's just been really chilling between 7 and 8 for the last 3-4 months. But this last couple of weeks it started to try to break out of this, so that's why I loaded up on those. Well, I didn't load up. I only have 2 contracts, so my max loss is $40, but my max profit is $150, I believe. It was like 75, yeah, like 150, 160. So hopefully Square stays within this range. It looks like we're going to be okay though. The one thing that you have to be concerned about when trading earnings is the conference call, because a lot of times, depending on what happens with the stock, the earnings call, it really sometimes changes the dynamic. Let's say the stock is doing bad. The CEO will go on the earnings call and try to hype the stock up, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it actually does worse off. And vice versa. If the stock is taken off and then the CEO gets on the conference call, he could tank that stock as well. So, you got to be concerned about you don't celebrate earnings wins until you actually take the trade off and you have that money in your account. Because anytime between now and then, anything is fair game. Yeah, Jay, Qualcomm is ripping. They're having the conference call right now. Started 15 minutes ago. But you can see, look at this wide range it traded in the last 15 minutes since that conference call traded. It hit back down to 84, then bounced up to like 90 area. My Roku 96 puts, 11.15. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Roku. AU. So Roku, your 96 puts for tomorrow. November 15th, sorry. November 15th. So you had a delta of 12. Okay, so 12. And we're currently at what move? $20 move. 12 times 20. So yeah, that's like 240, but you got to be aware of the IV crush, but it's not going to impact you as much because you're going to be, so these are going to be 240 plus, let's say the 40 cents. Let's say you paid 40 cents. So these will be worth like, let's say the 96 puts will be worth like around 280 tomorrow. For next week, there will be some, depending on what happens with the stock, there will be some IV crush. So that does impact, future weeks, not just this week. This week is the most violent, but future weeks it does impact if implied volatility goes down. And Roku has actually having a relatively high implied volatility for a while. Ever since we dropped here from 150 down to 107, it's really maintained this range up here in the 80s of implied volatility. So if this dips down to like the 70s and Roku flattens out, you're gonna take a hit. But you're still gonna be profitable. So. Scott, been watching your videos to help understand options. You're a good educator, easy to watch. Scott, thank you so much for the $5, man. Glad you're able to, get something out of it, hang out with us, talk the stock market. If you're not in our Discord and all that stuff, join. I'm in there all day. I mean, we have a lot of members in there. It's all we do all day. Talk the stock market. So AU, I think for the 96 puts for next week, let's say you did take an implied volatility drop, they're going to be worth, let's say 280 tomorrow, but with the IV drop, they may be worth like lower 200s, high 100s, 190, $2 area. So, you just make sure you lock it in. If you're going from 45 cents to $2, that's a win. Even if you went from 45 cents to $1, that's a win. So. What happens to a lot of people that I know is that they get greedy. Oh, do you think that I should take profits at 400%? If you're asking the question, the answer is yes. Do you think I should take profits at 1,000%? You should have took profits at a while ago. If you're at 1,000%, a lot of the things that happened in the stock market. Some people are up big and then it gets stripped away from them, and especially in this environment, you could be up big on a position and one tweet, one news headline, you're into negative territory. And I've seen it over the last couple of years with all this trade news and all this stuff and with Trump in office. And, it's happened many, many times where people get too big of positions, they're up big, they don't take profits, and then they get stripped from them just one tweet. And then they're mad that, Trump said something or someone said something, but at the end of the day, it's your risk. You were letting that ride. It happened to me multiple times. I was up 150% and the next day I was negative. Yeah. You gotta, when you're riding 100% gains, and you really have to calculate, like, let's say, it could be very possible to make, over 100% multiple times, but, would you rather take 100% 10 times or try to shoot for 1,000% and only hit it once every 30 times or every 40 times, right? I would say just take the 100%. And for me, like a day trade, I'm taking it like 30%, 40%. I'm taking those day trades off, because day trades, especially with this environment, are risky, and day trades aren't really paying off right now because we have such slow market movement. So, Roku earnings call starts now. Hope some magic happens. You want it to go lower, or you want it to go higher? that's a question. Right now it's hurt. I could definitely think like an Amazon or a Google, but those are completely different companies than like a Roku. I think that this recovers and settles in around 130 tomorrow is what I'm thinking. It dropped a good $20. I think it opens around 130 and then drops to 120 later in the day is what I'm thinking. And right now the Square call is on right now as well. So this just started 5 minutes ago, and Roku started 5 minutes ago. So yeah, SPY is kind of going every direction right now. But Anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll see where things end up. We're about 35 minutes in. Definitely been fun hanging out with you guys, watching these earning plays. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. Stay green. It's us versus herd.